just tell you all in short about my journey in discus world. I started very early. I got into this hobby very early during my school days, picking up fish, catching fish from gutters and nalas. So that's how I was talking to some of them earlier, that the hobby starts to come in and then it starts getting crazy. By education, I'm an electronic engineer. I worked in multinational companies. My last profile was an executive director in a company. 2009, I quit my job and got into discus breeding and farming full time. After that, the journey was never to look back. The decision was very hard and unpractical for all my family members to accept that from this position I'm quitting a job and getting into a fish hobby. And that time it was considered ki 10 rupiya, 20 rupees, how can you run the family? But yes, my passion took over, and today I can proudly and happily say that my passion has become profession, and I take pride. I'm very happy that it has progressed very well, and we have been able to establish a good level discus fish farming along with another 15 to 18 ornamental fish species which we are breeding and growing at our farm. So the topic is to discuss the discus fish. It is the king of the aquarium and one of the most popular fish species for an aquarium hobbyist. I know that hobby for an aquarist starts with smaller fishes, maybe guppy, mollies, goldfish. So many other colorful fishes are there. But as the hobby progresses, I think if a person hobbyist has stayed for a year's time and he gets very serious into the hobby, he would surely look into the discus fish. And once he gets discus fish and he's able to keep the discus fish for 6 months, I think the addiction sets in. Furthermore, within a year's time, if a discus pair is formed in his aquarium and they lay eggs, then there is no stopping. It's all over. Like his focus, even if whatever his core profession could be, he would be very much focused onto what's happening in his aquarium at home. So that's the way the hobby sets in. And I believe it's pleasurable for every family to have an aquarium in the house. After so much of a stressful day and workload for everybody, you know the times have changed now. It's quite a work, quite a run, right from morning to late evening. You spend 1 hour in front of an aquarium. It's so relaxing. You completely free yourself of the day's hard work and stress, whatever difficulties you're having. So we'll start off with the presentation. Somebody can put this here, huh? So how many of you all find that discus fish is the most beautiful freshwater fish for any hobbyist? How many of you all find it? See, I'm not saying that, because I'm going to talk on discus, everybody or people should raise their hands. I find it the most beautiful fish in an aquarium is discus fish. Reasons are being you have so many patterns, so many color forms. The shape is very unique. Probably only one of the freshwater fish which has got this oval disc-like shape. So very unique, and their swimming pattern is so different. Like they can swim vertical, sideways, go down. So that makes it more amazing and beautiful. Now this fish has got certain water requirements, their housing requirements. We will discuss each and every aspect that what are the best practices for discus keeping. So they prefer water with low pH. It can be neutral, soft water, warmer temperature compared to the other fish species. Now to keep the discus fish at its prime, displaying the kind of glowing colors, the finnage should be open, it should be swimming comfortably. So that would require even the diet to come in, that what diet you are feeding your fish. Some of the hobbyists find it very difficult to keep the discus because what happens is the source of getting the discus is very important. Now this fish has got a certain particular way to handle. A disciplined approach is required. And disciplined approach, what are the factors for it? The seller should actually educate or pass on or support the hobbyist. Because discus fish, after having a look, it can be an impulse buy for any new fish hobbyist. And they may just get it and the seller just sells it, he may not be able to keep it. So the basic support system required for discus fish is very important that the seller should share. At our Sam's Discus Fish, we have spent many years. I got into this as a hobby around the year 2000. 2002 was the defining period when I thought that why I should not take this as a profession. So today I am going to share all our practical experiences. This I am not going to be discussing from Google or whatever others have to share. All experiences and ways and methods that we practice at our farm for discus keeping. Now, comparative to the other ornamental fish aquariums, discus fish has a little more of an investment required. So, the person getting into the hobby should accept this fact that he should not compromise the fish basic requirements. Like you have a 2-foot tank and you want to buy a discus fish. I think the seller should discourage the customer to not buy a discus fish and put them in a 1-foot tank or a 2-foot tank. So the tank size is very important, which we will discuss further ahead. So the basic requirements for understanding the needs of a discus, first is the aquarium, the filtration, types of filtration that are available, the water source needs to be understood, the water temperature, the dissolved oxygen levels in the water, the decor, what can be done. Now some people will put a lot of soil, a lot of plants, make a thick plantation. So discus itself is so beautiful that, you know, even if you put it in a bare bottom aquarium, it looks amazingly beautiful. So what we want the plants in nature to be showcased or the fish to be having good space to move around and show its color and display, and also feel, I mean, they can eat properly in a less substrate tank. So these are certain factors which are very important, and as we progress further in the presentation, we are going to discuss it in detail. I think the most important first step towards getting the discus to your aquarium. A lot of hobbyists would say that I have an aquarium and I have come to buy a discus or I want discus from whichever source they will order. So having a proper aquarium setup done is the key. A lot of people say that I had an old aquarium and I will give it a salt wash, I will give a potassium permanganate wash, and then clean it up and add fresh water. The tank is ready for the discus fish to arrive. Some other hobbyists would say my tank preparation has been done. I have cycled the tank for 15 days. So I am sure, I don't know, how many people understand cycling of an aquarium? So there are some people who still want to know more about cycling. We'll discuss in the next slides when we talk about biofiltration. So these are different thought processes that come in place with the hobbyists where they want to follow certain practices just because others say. And the right ways we will discuss further. So what we recommend is any aquarium, any accessory which has to be introduced into this discus aquarium, it should be sterilized, sanitized perfectly. No short skirt could do. And what is the best known chemical for it is, like in our municipal corporation, the water is actually going to be contaminated. But what corporation does is they will add chlorine to it. That removes almost 99.9% of all germs in water, all pathogens in water. So I recommend that we should add a little bleaching powder to the aquarium, put all the accessories into it, keep it for minimum 8 hours, then remove it, rinse it, wash it very well, and then you put fresh water. preheat it to the temperature required for the discus. You can add other accessories like sponge filter and air stone and all that will come to it later. So it's same for the brand new aquarium also, because aquarium you will get it from an aquarium shop person. Aquarium shop person may have handled the aquarium. Like I'm very finicky on biosecurity. So if you have a fish shop and you give me a net, I will put that net into bleaching powder, dip for some time, and then I will use it for discus. I will straight off not take out of the packet and put it in my fish tank. All this I'm telling you, burning fingers, nobody taught me, and it does happen. I know of some breeders, big names in Mumbai also, who use the net, same net in all his tanks. And he had a severe infection to the level that he closed down his farm. So sanitation, one of the most key important aspect in ornamental fish keeping. If you've kept earlier fishes, some fishes like angels in an aquarium, and then you want to switch to discus, 100% you should give it a bleaching powder dosage. Only then you add discus. We will be again coming back to the water, the pH. So what are the conditions required for the water? Now discus can withstand pH right from 5.5 up to 8.5. I'm saying this with my practical experience. I have reduced the water pH and also kept the discus in 8.5 pH. What is the pH of water in Bangalore? 7.5. Okay. There's one factor in pH. See, discus will exhibit best colors at lower pH. So even 7 neutral, you'll get very good colors. 6.8, you will get much more beautiful colors. As the pH increases, the color intensity slightly diminishes. The TDS can vary. I think Kaveri water has got pH 7.5 you said, and what is the TDS?
TDS now goes to around 180 to 200.
Okay.
pH, if we have a good source, good place, so it goes 6.97 within 7. If we have a longer tunnel of this thing, water, it goes to 7.5, 7.6.
Okay. And discus is comfortable. You handle discus, huh?
Yes.
So how are your customers giving the feedback of the discus fish in the Kaveri water?
Kaveri water amazing, borewell water not good. Kaveri water we get good response.
We'll come to borewell water also. I think it's coming up in the next slide as to what you need to do if you are using borewell water. So I suggest a minimum aquarium size for discus fish should be at least 4 feet by 18 inches by 18 inches. Better is 4 feet by 2 feet by 2. And similarly, going ahead, we'll discuss in again the next slide. But minimum size, a lot of people, a lot of hobbies, because of their space restriction, they will compromise. They will say, I want to put in 3, 18, 18. See, discus will stay, but then you don't overcrowd it. You can't put 10, 12 discus in a 3-foot aquarium. You have to limit it, and the formula is 40 liters per discus. Whatever is the aquarium water volume, you calculate, and one discus should get at least 40 liters. So that's a thumb rule. If you are going to be having a newly arrived fish and you want it to stabilize, I think you should give good number of water changes. Water changes does not mean that you give 100% water changes. I have seen it on internet and a lot of guys recommending 100% water changes, 80% water changes. Some new guys still follow it. They do the water changes and they say fish is coming up on the surface, it is swimming fast, it is dashing around. So when you change a lot of water, what you are doing is either there is residual chlorine Or there is a water temperature shock, like your earlier aquarium had 30-degree water temperature and you pour the water at 26 degrees or 25 degrees. Surely the fish, it's got an immunity. But how long? It can sustain for some time, maybe a week. After that, surely water temperature variance is going to make your fish very sick. For filtration, there are different filtrations available. You have a sponge filter, you have canister filter, you have some filter. How many of you all understand some filtration? So I'm expecting everybody noting down whatever they want to know more about. So make your questions. After the presentation, we will get into question answers. Now, aquarium lights sounds very simple. Hobbyists will put on the aquarium light. So do you all keep the aquarium light on at night? No. Do you keep the room lights on in the night? No. So only two discus guys, huh? Jeet Sarkar, where are you?
Yes, sir.
So why I'm not hearing a voice?
Sir, I do keep the lights on at night, sir, actually. We should always keep a small light or let's say a zero light always on, as per my experience goes.
So that's right. I'll give you an example also what is going to happen. If you make a completely dark room in the night time and you happen to get up in the night, say 2 o'clock in the morning or even 12 in the midnight, you put on the room lights. So what is going to happen? What is going to happen when you put on the light? It's in a dark room, your aquarium is there, and you suddenly put on the room light. What is going to happen? So they will dash around, and what you observe is the fish is floating around as if there is a severe crisis. So they are like unconscious. So you may startle the fish, they may suddenly dash around, they may break their skulls. So make it a point that there is a dim light on in the room where you have the aquarium. You can't make it 100% dark. Aquarium light, definitely it has to be put off. Because see, every animal has a biological clock for day and night. So if you have plecos would be playfully moving around when it is dark. But discus, they need to sleep also. So you put a dim light, put off the aquarium light at the night time. Yeah. Stocking density is very important. We discussed about the point on 40 liters per discus. Nutrition is very important. In the next slides to come, we will discuss about what are my recommendations for the feed for the discus. So how many points of aeration do you all have in your discus aquarium? How many points of aeration? Suppose a 4 feet aquarium is there, and for that, like you have an air pump, you have air stone, you have sponge filter. So how many points do you all add in a discus aquarium? I think I've seen a lot of people use only one sponge filter or one air stone. Or somebody going ahead will say that I don't need to put the aeration, and I have a canister filter running, so the water gets aerated. So I would say that, okay, fine. With the spray on, if the spray tube is attached, there will be chance of having the aeration mixed with the water. But if you just have the flow, then there is not going to be any aeration. And this I'm talking about an hobbyist who kept the discus, and after 8 days he called me up saying that all the discus fish are on the top surface. I was looking at the video and I saw that there is no problem. Then I noticed that, fine, there doesn't seem to be any aeration. I said, where is the aeration? He says, what aeration? So there was no aeration, and he was thinking that canister filter flow is good enough. Usme se aeration bhi ho jayega. So I asked him to attach the spray bar and also add an air stone. Discus fish need a lot of dissolved oxygen levels. It should be greater than 5 ppm in water. 10 is ideal. 10 is good. So what I suggest is that in a discus aquarium, you can have one air stone and one sponge filter. If you don't want to spoil the look of the aquarium, some people can have the canister filter also, so you don't have those pipes and sponges seen in the aquarium. Now, there is some filter also. Some filter is what basically, similarly like the sponge filter or the aeration, you want a very neat looking tank and you don't want those aeration to be seen in the aquarium. What is created is, there are several layers of glass put in aquarium where overflow is incorporated. There is a pump in the last tank from where the water is pumped back into the aquarium, and there is a overflow system where all the water is coming up. So you can have the heater at the sump, you can have biomedia in the sump, you can have UV in the sump. So all the filtration is happening at the lower level, which is not seen, and it can be put in the cabinet. So that is a sump filtration. Some of the attendees did not know about that. So this is the siphon pipe for siphoning. I'm sure most of you all have seen it and known it. These are certain aquarium accessories which are required. For the heater, how do you actually achieve accurate, constant aquarium water temperature? How do we achieve that? Sorry?
By monitoring through thermometer.
Thermometer. Correct. Okay. Anyone else?
By heater using, sir, by using the heater.
Heater.
Yeah.
You mean the one that is thermos? So there is an aquarium heater available. Okay. So what brand do you suggest which works according to your experience? Which are the good brands which should be used?
Sir, Fuel can be used. And then, yeah, I have good experience with Dolphin as well. So I have seen that Dolphin also works good.
But Cheet Sarkar, what I observe in most of the 90% of the Discus Hobbies aquarium, they have something like Atman and Boyu, RS is there. So these heaters, what about them?
Sir, actually they will the temperature will be coming to not that much constant because they use a very cheap quality things in that cheap heaters, sir, actually.
So what? But heater is heater, it is heating the water, no?
It is heating the water, but it don't take up to that certain temperature what is required actually.
Exactly. So that's the point, that the heaters, aquarium heater should be such that if you set it to say 29 degrees, you may have, due to the ambient temperature variance, you may achieve 28 or 30.
Yes, sir.
Not more than that. So you need a thermometer, you need a proper aquarium heater which will give near temperature required or set by the hobbyist. Correct? Very important. I rank aquarium heater as one of the most important aspects for a hobbyist to take this for a longer many years. So Discus requires temperatures, minimum is 28. For a continuous use, 30 degrees is good. For treatment, internal issues, we have to raise it to 31. The smaller size discus can be grown at a higher temperature. Their growth rate will be much faster. So what happens if the temperature is lower? Water temperature goes lower. Yeah, anybody? If the water temperature is 25 degrees, then what happens?
So the fish will not accept feed and their metabolism will also go low, and eventually if that carries on for a few days, then a parasite attack also can happen in the tank and like fish can get stressed out actually.
Okay. So at what temperature fish will eat properly and
Maintaining 29 to 30 degrees.
okay.
And the fish stays at the tank.
Now the other aspect is that some of the hobbies have put up plants in the discus aquarium. So what happens at 30, 31 degrees?
So the plants will melt actually. Plants cannot thrive in 30 degrees
So have we all taken the point well? What we are suggesting is that if you want to have a planted aquarium for discus, firstly, it should not be very thick planted. It should be minimal substrate or soil, very minimum. You can put a wood. You can attach warm water plants. So you should check that the plants added in the aquarium can sustain 28, 29 degrees. So with planted discus aquarium, we should not go more than 29 degrees. Got it? So we've kept wild discus also. We have kept obviously tank bred discus we are producing in large quantities. So what we have seen over years is that every aspect in water in terms of pH and TDS, it makes a difference on the fish growth rate, fish health, and how do you measure it? We measure it by whatever discus is going out of our farm. We track it with our customers who follow diligently to our practices. So how many years our discus sustains at a customer's place? So like if I check with my customer after 6 months, does he have the fish? And how is the fish doing? By requesting him for an aquarium video. After 1 year, after 1.5 years, after 2 years, and experienced hobbyist can actually understand the fish health, what's happening with the fish. When he's a keen observer, he spends some time with the aquarium, observing the fish, watching him feed, watching him playfully, I mean they do push around each other. So all these things, so key thing is observation in your aquarium, which will give you a lot more information in the fish health. So 45 to 150 ppm TDS is what we have observed is best for the fish. In the pH range we have discussed earlier. Now tube well, bore well, we were discussing earlier, or well water. Now this water is stagnant. It has got percolation from nearby areas. So there could be gutters, there could be chemical spillages near around, oil spillages. These are definitely going to get mixed up in borewell and well water. In fact, I can confirm that most of the tube well in all cities, the water is contaminated, it is not potable. So rather avoid using it, and if there is no other scope, then you should get your borewell water or well water tested. It could have heavy metals and chemicals into it. So you should have an analysis done for simple parameters like pH, KH, TDS, dissolved oxygen, diesel oxygen will be almost nil. If you put your bore water directly into the aquarium, discus aquarium, first thing or any other fishes, first thing you'll observe is the fish is starting to come up. With the chemicals in the water, you'll see that the fish is okay. 1-2 days, you're not seeing any problems, but their tummies will start bloating. So they start having kidney failures. So this is the observation with water with heavy metals and chemicals. So this is about the borewell water. So how many people have discus aquariums at their place? We had asked earlier. Can I know the size of your discus aquarium?
Mine is 5 feet high, 2 feet high.
Fantastic. Give him a big applaud. He's a serious hobbyist. See, he's not compromising on the discus requirements. What we do is, मेरा cupboard का, मेरा cabinet का, मेरा table का जगह इतना ही है, मैं 2.5 फुट का बनाऊंगा. Width मेरे पास में 1.5 feet. I don't have 18 inches of width, so I should make it 10 inches, 12 inches. So we push our difficulties onto the poor animals. So we should avoid getting into it. So what he said is the right perfect size. I'm sure I can forgive the shopkeepers, they cannot have the lavish displays done, not all of them, but I'm sure with the proper feeding regime and proper giving them the good water quality, not changing the water and all those practices should be avoided. So ideally is 4 feet aquarium. Minimum a hobbyist should take is 3 feet by 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet. Don't go smaller. There have been instances that hobbyists have got annoyed with me, disappointed with me because I have refused to give discus for them because 3 foot by 10 inches by 10 inches ka aquarium hai. I directly refuse if the hobbyist say that he wants to put in a 2 feet aquarium. So be very careful on selecting the size of the aquarium. We discussed about water changes, but going specifically into the water change, how do you do your water change for discus?
We have kept him bare bottom. The complication of gravel cleaning and all is like less.
Yeah.
But then I maintain a regime of maybe 30% every week.
30% every week. How many times a day feeding?
I'm feeding 3 to 4 times.
What are you feeding?
All dry pellets.
Pellet feed. Okay. How many fish in the aquarium?
Around 8 to 9.
Okay. Because your stocking density is low and probably the beneficial bacteria is established quite well, you are able to pull through.
I have carrier canister and then sponge filter plus aeration.
Okay, good. Anybody else? On water change, how do they do it? He's not completely described. I wanted to hear something else also.
Once a day.
Every day, sir. Great. Little.
4 inches.
Great, very nice.
Depends on the bioload mostly. If we have a lot of bioload, we have more feeding time. If the water is unhealthy, I do change every day. Or else once in a week, every third day we change 20 to 30% water.
See, all of you all have said correctly. What I was waiting to hear was, when we add the fresh water, usually in winters what happens is, you suppose take out 30% water. Your aquarium is at 30 degrees. You are getting the fresh water at 18 degrees and 19 degrees in winter. You start the water with full pressure because you don't have time. So 30% water you want to fill quickly and then go off. One of the main key reasons for most of the discus hobbies who fail, temperature shock, water temperature shock. Your fish will gradually stop eating the feed. It will start having the white poop because lower water temperature, hexameter thrice. So the key aspect is the fresh water that is added to discus aquarium, 1 degree plus minus is acceptable, not more than that. A lot of guys proudly say 60% water change, 70% water change. मैं तो सब कर रहा हूँ, I am doing all that is necessary, but the fish is falling sick. So the simple questions are, what are you feeding? What is the water temperature? How much water change is done? What is the temperature of the fresh water? Your point?
Sorry. At what rate the water, fresh water you are inducing, that also matters?
See, I'll tell you, now it's for every hobbyist, it is not possible to preheat water. Okay, it's a very good question you asked. Now suppose the aquarium water is at 30 degrees and your fresh water say is at 22 degrees. You can actually start a trickle. So you're filling up 22 degree water at a very low speed, wherein the resultant water temperature is not going more than 1 degree. So I have done that the same thing in my early years because I know I was in Pune and Pune was very cold, very cold. It used to even get 6 degrees on those 2008 and 2006. Your water change also depends on your discipline of feeding the fish. You say 5-6 times, I'm sure the younger discus should be fed 5-6 times. The bigger size discus, I think twice a day is good enough. But a lot of hobbies, they give the frozen feed. So there is BHM, CHM. How many of you all know what is BHM and CHM? Only one person here?
Chicken at mix, chicken at mix, and goat at mix.
Okay. So actually when you give this hot mix, which is more nourishing than the pellet feed, I can admit, but you have to be prepared to maintain the water quality. So how much you're feeding? So if you are going to be giving a hot meat to the fish, you have to be prepared to change water twice daily. So morning you can change 20%, later in the evening when water warms up in your overhead tanks also, so you can change 30 to 40%. So this is the change in your water changing regime if you are giving very highly nutritious food which is also going to pollute your water. So what we have learnt in the last slide, can anybody summarize it for me?
Water temperature is
Water
very
temperature, meters, and then how to feed them.
Yeah, so we were talking about water changes. Water changes means fresh water and your existing water to be matched up as much as possible. You have to feed in discipline. You have to keep the fish density at 40 liters per fish. You have to feed only so much that the fish are going to consume it. It's not going to be lying in the floor. It is not going to spoil the water. When it is hard meat, you're going to give more water changes. The discus fish mouth looks bigger when we comparatively see other fishes and discus fish. It has got thicker lips. But actually the mouth inside from where the food will go in the gut area is very, very tiny. How many of you all have observed the peculiar way of discus fish eating the pellets? How do they eat? Any serious discus hobbyist should know this. It is not possible that a discus hobbyist, he says, मेरे पास 6 महीना 1 साल से है और वो खाना actual कैसे खाता है? How the fish takes the feed.
He takes the feed and then he throws back and then again he collects.
That's right. So discus fish has grinders, doesn't have teeth. So it will grind, spit it out, again take it. So that's how. How many of you all have observed it? I think every discus keeper must have observed this fact. So discus feed formulation should have, discus require high protein feed. I think for a younger discus about 55% is good. For older discus about 42% is good protein, and the other formulation nutrients required. How many of you all feed the frozen fish food? Okay, let me ask you one more thing. Whether the frozen fish food is better for the discus health growth or the pellet feed? You've seen practically discus doing better in frozen food. Yes, sir, please.
I used to get tetrabits.
Tetrabits you used to give. Tetrabits, sir, earlier we used to get genuine.
Japanese.
Yeah, Japanese and German also, I think. So that feed was genuine. It was not duplicate. The nutritional value was correct. It was one of the best feed available in those very early days when discus came to India. After that, we saw many years, and I don't know the current status, but same discus tetrabit pack, but the water is getting red, and fish tummy is bloating up. So adulteration, or in fact duplication, this has also started, and we have a lot of experts in Mumbai and Kolkata also for manufacturing of tetrabits. Let's not discuss on the negatives. So yes, frozen fish food has got moisture content which makes it very good for discus digestion and also absorb the moisture. It thickens up, grows faster, eats much more than pellets. The growth rate observed compared to pellet feed is more with frozen fish food. Obviously, when we talk about fish food, I am very strict, or I will always recommend that they don't go by anybody's say. Like you have so many products available, frozen food available in the market, which will say 100% sterilized. How many brands do you all know that the frozen food is available and they say 100% sterilized? Okay. Okay. I don't want to, put down any big brand name, but in my early days, bloodworm was much sought after and supposed to be the top food for discus. And a big brand name, only one that was coming to India. I had got some discus imported from Singapore. I sold my car for that, getting those discus. And we all got the frozen bloodworms. Within 15 days, I started to notice the fish tummy bloating. The fish is looking upwards and dying. So when people claim it's 100% sterilized, there are very, very few people who are generally sterilizing it. I can say this brand is Aqua Nutrition brand. This is recommended by us. It is one of our sister concern company which is making this feed. We have all these sterilizing equipments with us. We understand the passion that goes into it, and it's just not about money. This we launched only after looking at what is happening in the market. People pay so passionately for the fish, and then all these big brand names come in and they spoil the show. Even for pellets, I have the similar story. In some batches, there can be a problem in the pellet. It could be contaminated, and we don't tend to believe that the feed pellet of big brands, I'm not naming any brand, but all top brands, that could be a problem. So don't blame only the fish guy for giving the bad fish or something like that. Now some people will give even live bloodworm. How many people believe in giving live feed? None of the discus guys, of course. Please maintain it, don't give it, don't listen to anybody. We have some people in Mumbai, मेरा discus कुछ नहीं होता है, I give live, 2 साल से दे रहा हूँ, 4 साल से दे रहा हूँ. Currently I recommend this brand. We have been using this, we've never had problems, but using other big brand names also we've had problems. We have sent the report to the concerned companies that we have noticed such issues. So currently this brand is good. This is the same Aqua Nutrition brand. It comes in cube form. There are 6 variants. It has got 4 variants have got chicken heart base. Then we have red color enhancer, yellow color enhancer, bio natural is there. Then we have a dewormer, frozen adult artemia, and frozen sterilized bloodworms also. So this is another discus food. This is also very good. We have been using it. We've never had a problem. A lot of people say Australian blackworm. How many of you all have given Australian blackworms? Yes. So, can you tell us anything about Australian blackworm?
I got it freeze guys. I used to feed them. Good food actually. I got good result with it. Because my discus doesn't keep long time in my shop.
You must have never seen discus go so crazy for this food than any other feed.
Yes.
They go mad, they'll go over each other to actually get a bite of this. Highly palatable. I have a concern for this. Not a negative concern, but the concern is that if I give Australian blackworm for say 2 days,
They stop feeding on it.
they will starve to death, but they will not eat any other feed. Whatever you will put, they will not eat. Second is, I am doubtful about freeze drying and its nutritional value. To understand this more, I discussed with a person who has done a lot of research on freeze drying for foods for humans and then reusing it with hydration. So in their trials, he admitted and told me that I have not documented it because several products, dry fruits, so many freeze drying is going on and it's got a huge market. He told me, Sanjay, with freeze drying, the nutritional value is destroyed completely. Okay? So I'm not for it, I'm not against it. Discus go crazy, they will never go so crazy for any other feed than Australian blackworm. Animal heart recipes, many are available in the market. How many of you all have made, because it's fun actually when you can prepare food for your pets, it's a fun time. And you'll put all your mind, energy, trying to get what is the best combination, what is the best vitamins I can add, how I can make it a perfectly balanced feed for the fish. How many of you all have made animal heart mix? You have made? Fantastic.
Not for the fish, but other animals.
Okay, very nice. No one else. Jeet Sarkar, you've made?
I have made, but it was actually not very good. That like it was spreading in the water, sir, and fishes were not taking it.
Okay, so you didn't want to grow the fish and you have less water, so you can't change a lot of water.
Yeah.
So you opted out of it.
Sir, when I was doing like at the starting phase of my hobby, so that time I made actually and tried to make myself, but it was not a complete like it was not too much good that was like not staying constant actually. While going in the water, it was to spread a lot. That's what I was facing the problem.
Anybody can speak about other pets where heart meat is used or any other meat is used? What is the process? How do we actually clean it, I would say, or make it pathogen free or make it sterile? I mean, not let the pathogen, because it's organic matter, you will have contamination. We know that the butcher place is, how is the butcher's place? He's going to use that same knife. He's going to use that wood platter. It's never going to be washed. It will be just plain water wash. They have those dirty drums filled up with all murky water. With that only he will clean it. So when you get this meat from a butcher,
I used to wash it with hot water, sir.
hot water,
Hot water, I used to wash it and I used to feed to my ferret. I was having 2 to 3 ferrets.
okay. Now for sterilizing, what is the temperature to kill any pathogens?
We steam the meat before giving it to dog.
For which pet?
Dog.
Dog. For dog it is, you steam it, you will have the proper result.
We used to boil also for dogs.
Yeah, but because fish, the meat will harden, so you can't boil or steam. So what point I have is, a lot of people get animal heart, they get it, they wash it, they put all what they want to put, they mince it and feed, and they say that मैं तो खुद घर से खाना बना रहा हूँ, खुद के हाथ से बना रहा हूँ, why the fish tummy is bloated, why the problem? So this is one way you can have a problem. So what we have learnt up till now is, we have elaborated on the water parameters, water's importance for discus fish. We have discussed on the feed that is required. So in short, whatever you add to the discus aquarium is going to keep it happy or make it sick. Correct? Is it getting too lengthy for you all? Anything difficult to understand? Sure? Can you all read the points and if you have any questions on it? Because there is a lot of silence. I want to wake you up. Any questions on that?
Sir, as you said, water temperature is very important. Water temperature, water parameters. Discus fish are already, they are found in wild also. Is the 30 degree maintained in the wild also is the natural behavior or because of the crossbreeds, everything in aquarium it has changed to 30 degrees? Or it's adapted or? Because natural, I believe there's 25 to 26 degrees of normal water in trough.
I think in the rivers of discus fish origin, the wild discus, the seasonal change of water temperature is from 25.5 degree up to 32, 33 degrees. This is the variation. Even the pH varies from region to region where discus is found. In nature, what food they eat, that builds up the immunity of the fish to adapt to the different water and difficult surviving conditions required. The sunlight, the kind of sunlight they get, the kind of algae that they get, the kind of crustaceans they must be having. So all that becomes vanaspati feed for them, that they can take on those difficult times of very high temperatures and low temperatures, which is very difficult to replicate. For obviously there are so many researchers going by all the top companies like Hikari and big brands which are making it discus food. But it's very difficult to go very near to even what is their balanced nutrition required. What else from this point?
Sir, also in nature, fish know that when it's going to be cold, where they can get heat and all like that.
Exactly. That is also one very nice thing you said is they will move to warmer areas. In a water bed or even a flowing river, there will be points where the water is much warmer than the flowing water. So they will go out to those areas. It's a nice one you said.
And how to, like in Bangalore, you have told you the pH level is quite high. How to maintain a proper pH level?
I will not suggest hobbies to play with pH. It's a very delicate thing to understand. Though you have pH up and down available. For water pH to be lowered, you need to have a separate water storage and a continuous monitoring done for the pH fluctuation.
Because as you said, the temperature fluctuations affects the fishes. As I'm changing 10 to 20% of water every day, even the pH will differ as I'm adding the new water.
So that makes it more difficult if you are actually going to work on the pH.
Yes.
Because even if you put acid into the water storage and you take the measurement, and if it is, say, after putting the acid, it comes down to 6.5. Whereas the natural pH was, say, 7.5. Next day, if you see, it is bounced back to 7.5.
Yes.
Which is also incorrect. So it will not stabilize immediately. It's a cycle you have to create with a lot of aeration, the water going up and down, and a buffer that it will have a stable pH. So that is why from 7.5 or 8.5 pH, and you say a hobby say I want to get it down to 7, he needs to be really experienced. He needs to have storages. He needs to do some homework and trials in different water storages where he can actually put the pH down liquids and understand what happens after 3 hours, 6 hours, 12 hours, 24 hours, how the pH variation happens. Because again, it depends on the strength of the acid that you are adding. So there is no formula as such that you add so much acid because your earlier fresh water will have a different pH. So I have summarized that as per the discus age, how many times you should feed, and this is based on 2 water changes daily. So you can't, hobbies can't replicate it. There are a lot of discus fish growers who will just grow the babies. If you want proper growth rate, then 7 to 8 times per day. This sounds like a terrible torture work, but that it is if you want to get an optimum growth rate, because now standards have come up. Experienced discus person, one look at the fish and he will know the entire story about how this fish has been grown, what is the growth rate, and what is its health also. Experienced discus breeder can understand your fish at one look as to what's gone behind. So you may say my fish is 6 months old, okay? But experienced discus guy, looking at the eyesight to the body size ratio, finnage, he will tell you, no, this discus is so and so age. Going further ahead, the discus eye size. Now, discus has, now if this is the vertical marking, first bar, do you all notice the eye size compared to how many eyes do you think can fit this area in the line?
6.
So the perfection is 8 eyes. Then the fish has got the proper growth rate. So it's just not a very beautiful looking fish, and you say, wow, what a fish. Experienced guy is going to watch how is the growth rate, what this guy is understanding in growing the fish. And we talk about a lot of imported fish. Now, you named a brand. I'm not going after any brand. But I want us to understand what is high quality discus. So growth rate is one of the first factor any experienced discus guy is going to look as to how the eye size is, how the shape of the fish is, how the the finnage is, how the pelvic fins is, how transparent the swimming fin, caudal fins are there. So every aspect is noticed. Other negative point the fish will have is the head area. The thin head area will be first indication of a problem for the discus. We'll come to the next slides where how to select the discus, we will come to that also. So this regime is a rigorous regime. For hobbies, 2 times filled, they should never buy discus at smaller size than 3 inches. At 2 inches, they are going to go take it and spoil it. And my entire almost 20 years now, I have seen, I think, about 2 to 3 hobbies only who have taken discus fish at 2 inch from us, and they have been able to make it the champion grade. Not even just the special selection of the best, but absolute winners in the show. I will show you one of our fish which won international competition last year also, and not only in India but at Vivarium, one of the most prestigious show abroad. Overfeeding is definitely bad. Talking more in terms of technical, 3 to 4% of the body weight should be fed. The main key aspect is that feed only so much that the discus is finishing within 5 minutes. You have any leftover feed in the tank, it is going to spoil the water quality, and regularly you do that, after 8-10 days you will definitely come up with some problems. Fish is not eating, fish is scratching the woods or surface, blunt surfaces. Slow sinking feed is what is preferred by fish, not the floating. Floating, the fish will have a lot of problem. It can't take the body upwards. Some younger fish will, but the big size fish can't go on top surface and eat. So this is about over 2-inch fish. How the fish growth rate is, that is explained in terms of their age in months. What is the optimum growth rate that should be achieved? So the fish looks like this at about just over 2 inch. This is 3.5 inch. This is 4.5 inch. This is 5-inch fish. So how the fish develops, you can see it. This is blue rim rose red, one of the very popular strains among discus hobbies. जी सरकार, सबसे ज्यादा डिस्कस कौन सा बेचता है? Which is in demand in Bangalore?
Golden sun mirror, blue rim red nose, and then we have the kukri eruption, the sparkling mace, and then we have a good demand for galaxy turquoise as well in Bangalore.
Very nice, very nice. Blue rim red rose come down now, huh?
No sir, blue rim red rose is always in demand. So I mentioned that name with the second, like the golden silver is the most demanded still as per my knowledge.
Which one do you find Bangalore market? Which strain is more popular?
Red, anything with red.
Only red fish.
Much needed. Because any tank will highlight a red fish. So most of the customers prefer red, and turquoise is also in demand. But red is always
What about yellow?
not much of yellow, not much of white also, but red and purple is very much in demand.
Tell me in your experience, have you been able to keep a yellow fish yellow for how many days or how many months? Have you got the yellow fish,
Yes,
yellow discus
we had
before?
this.
Could you keep it yellow for a long time?
No,
We kept it for around 6
No, huh?
no, there is a reason for that. And that's why I think they are not so sorted after. If you know the fact earlier.
You know the reason why you can't
Yeah.
keep it?
Feed.
What is the problem in the feed?
Because most of the feeds are with the red pigmentation by default. I mean, even if you try to avoid, you have to feed the separate specific feed, and that becomes a challenge for normal people who don't have that aspect more.
See, what happens is, fish with the discus or any other fish, it needs to have those chromatophores from where it will display the colors. It's not like, blue fish को आप red color enhancer डाल दो, yellow color enhancer डाल दो, वो yellow हो जाएगा या red होगा, ऐसा नहीं होता है. So the fish will display only colors it is got genetically made for. But the status for a red fish or a yellow fish is that either ways, if they have like carotene, one of the pigments to enhance the colors in the fish, astaxanthin, now we have the synthetic carafel pink colors, carafel red is obviously for the mass edible fish. So these are the additives that can be added to the feed which will give the color. Now if you open up any or watch the ingredient list of any big brand pellet feed for discus, you will notice that there is astaxanthin, ingredient astaxanthin. So this astaxanthin component is good for the fish. It works on the oxidative stress of the fish. This will enhance red color to every fish which has the capability to show that color. So blue will not become red, but yellow will become orange. So you see every can you will have or every pouch, astaxanthin is mentioned, you don't feed it to yellow fish. Day by day of Discus food brand, it is a neutral feed. It will not make red fish more redder, it will not make yellow fish more redder, so it will not change the color. So Discus food has that neutral color feed. So what is the largest discus anybody has seen? Biggest size?
8 inches.
8 to 9 inches. You're fortunate to see that size. Very difficult to actually even get a glimpse of live fish in front of that. Where did you see that?
One of my customer, he's a very good hobbyist. So he got it from Mumbai way long back, from a very young person. So he had kept it near my shop only, and he still has it.
He still has it. Wow. What's the name of the customer?
He's a doctor. I don't remember the name of the person, but he's a doctor. He's a big hobbyist. He's into marine and fresh water. So he had Discus probably this big sounds
This would be 10 inches.
around 9, 10, 8 size.
No, Jeet, you have seen big size discus?
In your family.
Okay. So I take the pride in sharing that in our farm, most of the discus lines are of the giant jumbo lines. Most of the discus will be growing minimum 5 to 5.5 inches, but the larger, see, it is all relative. You are feeding, water temperature, your upkeep, if that is proper. We have hobbyists who have our fish which is 8, 9 inches easily. We have sent a 10-inch fish to Italy and the guy was shocked. He was not a new guy, but he said that I've been keeping a discus for many years. I didn't know the 10-inch discus exists. So he was shocked to see that size and beauty. This is an interesting slide, isn't it? So what do you see when you go to a shop or a place? This should be shared with all hobbyists. Huh? When they come to your shop, this should become one buying kind of an perfect list. I should be shared. We should try to make this list for discus selection very popular in Bangalore. Jeet, what say? It's for you also. You will give proper fish to the customer. I think we need to educate the customers. We need to adhere to ethical ways of selling. I have seen a lot of people, importers, कौन क्या क्या बात करेगा, मतलब सैम डिस्कस का मच्छी लेगा, वो जाएगा कोलकाता, वो बोलते हैं मलेशिया इंपोर्ट है. अरे वो इधर ही बना हुआ डिस्कस है. बॉम्बे में देर आर होलसेलर्स हु बाय इन बल्क एंड दे से ये वो टैन का डिस्कस है, ये वो टैन का डिस्कस है, सिंगापुर का है, हालांकि वो ब्रीड भी नहीं करता है वो स्ट्रेन्स. सो दिस इज व्हाट आई मीन. आई थिंक वी शुड बी एथिकल, वी शुड सेल with the proper guidance, and we should not take the customer for the ride. So these are the few selection tips for all hobbies. First sign is, I think the fish should be moving around very freely in the aquarium. The fish which are hanging back, definitely they will have internal issues. Usually if you see the discus going at the back of the tank and it is also looking backwards, it will have internal issue. Breathing heavily and only one gill is moving, it could be indication of an infection into the other gill. Some of the fish have twisted mouths. I don't know how many people can identify or have experience in seeing a fish which has got a very slight twist. But some sellers will sell this as a very high quality fish. I don't mind sharing with you all. Last year's International Discus Championship, I'm very attached to discus fish. And even in a competition, if a wrong fish is given, I may not be there, but I will pull it down in public. So there were, I think, a lot of decisions going the other way. Bent fish, eye-chipped fish, so they were nominated for the prize. Anyways, it's a controversy. Short gill covers, the fish will have short gills. Odd size discus. One eye is big, one is smaller. The tails are very poor. When we go to get the fish, we should ask for their parameters. As far as possible, the shape should be rounded. A lot of people, how many of them like those high fin, high body, bulldog shaped fish? Everyone likes? You like?
I feel that is not the natural thing.
It's a defect fish. It's a defect fish. Some people sell it at a much higher price.
Making it exclusive.
That it is a very rare bulldog fish. It's a defect fish.
Yeah.
It has a spine problem.
But it has a series of varieties.
See, we want to create fishes which defects are removed.
Okay.
So if hobbies start buying this defect fish, they're encouraging the breeders to breed more defective fish, which will go to many more breeders. So we should spread the word around that this is a defect fish. And it struggles to swim. It cannot swim normally. I know the last point is, like, suppose one of the person here you have discussed, he is not buying from you, but he is buying from the third person, but he calls you up and says कि मैं discuss खरीद रहा हूँ, आप मुझे जरा guide करिए. So how valid is the last point? Tell me. You understood what I asked?
Yes.
That is a rare thing to get actually.
Actually, you have.
Sir, like I sell plants, water plants like water lilies and lotus, and people buy from other people and ask advice from us. That you have to guide us that I am going to get this variety and what is going to be happen after I buy it. So it's kind of irritating.
So you answer those questions?
Yes, we answer that, but at some point it gets very irritating that we say that if you buy from us, then only we provide the answers.
Okay, we'll discuss further on it. Tell me now.
But definitely, I have many people every day we get customers They buy tanks from us, filtration from us, and like see those guys are selling with the cheap price of the fishes, and they buy from them. So what happens is then the fish gets sold, whatever happens, they come to us, see this happened, they show us the video, they feel guilty, they give me less, that's why I got from them, know what I should do. So there are two factors, basically if you're buying a good fish and making it bad, it's your fault. You're getting a bad fish and it's already getting bad, it's not our problem, we cannot help it. But if you're buying a good fish and still it's getting bad, we can help with that, that's not a problem. But if you are someone who takes a lot of advice and still do whatever we want, it's a waste of time. We have
Anyone
regular
else?
customers.
Anyone else? Question सबको समझा है मैंने क्या? What they've asked?
In maximum time, if in certain situation, if you quote that you are not buying from you and then still asking, they will try to find out 10 reasons why the other guy may be also selling very genuine, very good quality.
Yes. It's not that, you
And I
know.
think I don't have to tell you, I see that lot of hype with respect to your brand also on the social media. But then there will not be a genuine approach towards this kind of conversation.
I think Jeet Sarkar also gets a lot of similar situations. I get it almost on a daily basis from all over India.
I have come across some breeders or some hobbyists or the people who deal using his name also.
Yeah.
Jeet's name.
So, see, I believe that when we sell the fish, 100% we have to support our customers' hobbies. We cannot give any reasons why we should not support whatever situation. Yes, there can be some situation where you are occupied and you are unable to support, but definitely we should support. But you buy from others and then ask for this support. Initially, I used to support everybody, whoever. But currently the situation is, I will do injustice if I leave my hobbies and answer others. So currently what I make a statement is, please go back to your seller. So earlier my thought was, I should support, I should be good, I want the hobby to increase so many people will learn. But finally what is happening is, the customers are encouraging unknowledgeable people who do not understand the fish keeping. They are selling the fish, then why the hobby should buy? The shopkeepers, the sellers should go to training places. LSeT has come up as like a boon in Bangalore. You come here, take up a training class. I mean, there are so many things to learn, so many ways to learn. And then you get into the business. It's much more organized. It's much more doing business with understanding. So I think that's the right way. And the customers should also understand at some point that you buy live animals from places who themselves know about keeping them, the well-being of those animals. I think everybody understands the fish new arrival and acclimatization. Everybody understands. Whoever understands, please raise your hand. Please explain.
Yes, that's
No, not you. Your name, please.
that is the method which
Just stand here, please, and a little louder.
usually when we make the fishes, we must activate in a pan, and then we take out the fishes in a basket or you can say in a tub, and then we take the water from the aquarium which they have activated the fish, and we use the one pipe for drip. You can say a drip irrigation method that matches the temperature and matches the parameters of the water, and then we just take the net and take out the fishes from that tub and put in the aquarium.
Very nice, very nice. Great. A big hand of applause for him. Very nicely explained. So this is the same procedure what he has said. It's just defined, it can be done in a bag, but tumbler is much better. Other things to add is, the fish must have come from different water parameters. It must have had higher ammonia levels when it has reached your place. The fish needs to settle down in the new water parameters. So adding a little of the fish bag water and starting a dip from the aquarium from where you want to release the fish. That this process is explained. And discus is very sensitive. For change, you take out the bag, open the bag and put it there. No, it's very wrong practice. The discus will get shocked. That is probably the start point of how easily you can stabilize the fish in your aquarium. This is the most common practice, right? I think everybody used to do this one. And they will open up the rubbers here only. And they'll release the fish. I have matched the temperature, so done. Please don't do this. This water should never get into the aquarium. Clear? Always try to order fish. Ask your suppliers to use thermocol box. Minimal temperature variance, the fish will travel nicely. And always stick to having a thermocol. It will cost you more, but much better to have in thermocol bag. The procedure that we follow is, when the fish is to be settled down, just as in precaution or to heal the scratches while netting and traveling, 1 gram per liter of rock salt, not the kitchen salt. I hope everybody understands what's rock salt, raw salt, and your kitchen salt which has got iodine. Okay, good. So initially you keep the temperature a little higher. Higher temperature increases the metabolism of the fish. The fish will be more hungry. It will adapt to the new feed, new water parameters faster. So initially we recommend to keep the water temperature 31 degrees. After a month you can get it down to 30 degrees. The fish may take time from, say, next day to a week maximum, but within 2-3 days the fish usually will start taking pellet feed. Now acclimatization and quarantine is different, huh? It's different?
Yes.
Totally.
Can anyone explain discus fish quarantine? How it should be done?
Regular fish I can do normally.
Okay, tell me.
So basically,
Be little loud so that everybody can hear.
so what we do is depend on the fish species.
Take a seat for some time. Yeah.
If the species, if we get from good source also, if we have a 7-feet tank, if I want to add fish to that, I don't add the fish directly getting from the farm or from the seller. What I do is I keep it in a separate tank, wait for at least 22 to 23 days. Because some internal parasites take up to 22 to 23 days to show up. Some external parasites will take 3 days to 5 days to show up. To check everything after the 23 days, if we find a parasite or we find any issues like itch or internal parasite, we actually fix that, then we shift the fishes to the main tank. This is called quarantine. Acclimation is the matching of the temperature parameters of the water with the incoming water and the existing water what we have in the tank.
Very nice. A big hand of applause. Fantastic. Very nicely explained. Perfect. Quarantine is more or less a process where newly arrived fish or any animal is under more stringent observation. We do not immediately start putting medicines. We will first observe the fish. It may be stressed out. Just a dosage of right amount of rock salt may release him of the stress factors and the fish may be fine. In severe cases, usually the imported fishes, they can have these kind of certain very deadly bacterial infections, parasite infections. So for them, it is very necessary that the imported fish are never got directly into your main fish stocking area. This is a big no-no. We have seen several big establishments completely fail. Their entire fish setup and facility has gone virulent, diseased with bacteria, parasites, that the units have shut down. So the cross contamination with the imported fish needs to be very, very careful. Even certain places in India, because the sellers are not revealing if there has been an issue, and they will just pass on. Currently, it's my view, don't take me otherwise. I think in India, currently there is a dumping of ornamental fish that is happening. People, sellers, importers are not bothered what the quality of fish is, what the health of fish is. So they just want to get the fish, dump it to the resellers. It is going all over India. So what we are doing is, we are spreading very, very dangerous pathogens into our environment. As me to contribute to this industry at the highest level, I have pushed very hard for control on it, and strict quarantine units to be in at all the ports wherever the fish will come. Before I forget, I can share one thing, and finally it was much required. Our ornamental fish industry has been unorganized, and we ourselves did not know which concerned government department is going to be responsible or will look into it. If we ask how many shops in Bangalore, government will not have the data. How many fish breeders particular fish breeders in Bangalore, government doesn't have data. This was started about 2 years back, just post-COVID, by a group. There's a group formed at a central level for consultants from each state. Mr. Adip, he's there. I think he's there. Yeah, he's there in that consulting group from Bangalore. Nikhil Sut is also there in that. Yeah, he's there. So finally, day before yesterday, the Fisheries Secretary, Mr. Abhilaksh Lekhi, sir, has shared a digital platform created where all shopkeepers, fish farmers can register. So that process has started. Have you all been aware of this?
Yes.
You've got aware. So just day before yesterday, this was released.
Got a meeting about that.
Fantastic, fantastic. So it's a good moment where we will know who's who and what is the segment like. So this is first that has happened. We actually had a meet, the first ornamental fish conclave at Bhubaneswar on the 1st and 2nd. So there, the first point by every meet. I was leading one team. I think for a while there was one more. Then there were 3 teams. Anyways, so the first point was to formalize and have the ornamental fish segment online, and data should be available. So when the new arrival fish comes in, you should not put on the light. Very, very important. People want to see the fish, people want to see the colors, people want to share with the seller कि यार इसमें तो मच्छी में कलर ही नहीं है, मैं तो लाइट लगा के देख रहा हूँ. So this is not done यार. The poor thing has traveled in the packet, and then you want to put on the aquarium light and start complaining. So we should educate the person, let the fish settle down, let the fish start taking feed first. First 24 hours, no feeding to fish, no aquarium lights, let the fish settle down. Yeah. Some of the tank mates that can go with discus fish. Anybody has doubts on certain fish which can be added to discus aquarium?
Those small
Hey, they are a natural food, let them eat, no? Come on. So you have to make the tank appropriately, give space. So
Pack size is 90, height is 3 width is 3 That's 600. Only 10 to 200. Next weekend.
see, in nature, what is the natural food of discus? So all these cardinals and all. I will just give you an example. In an aquarium, probably world's largest aquarium, We've put 900 discus and 5,000 cardinals in that.
Okay.
After 3 days, there were 1,500. क्योंकि वो भागेगा भी तो कितना भागेगा? There are 5,000. जब तक तो पीछे से डिस्कस
Discuss first.
So certain things we also have to have a strong heart to not blame the discus for eating its natural feed when it doesn't get the opportunity. Any questions on the tack mates that you would want to ask for discus? You understand this?
Actually, some backboards acting on the fins.
Yeah. So, I mean, finally I would say cardinal tetras, cory catfish, Bristol nose pleco, German rams, tetras में आप harlequin ले लो, Raminus ले लो, don't go for barbs and other fish at all. See, what happens is they can stay together, but the person should know the feeding of the fish very well. Angels are too quick and too fast for discus. They will beat them in competition. If a hobbyist is going to add the feed at one place and go off, only angels will eat the feed. Discus will not get anything. So we have to keep in mind that the discus should also get the nutrition. And every time they have to compete, some of the weaker ones will be left behind. So over a period of time, you will have some discus which are not taking feed, which are stressed out because angels will push them around. Yeah?
Some larger size breeds, the breeds which are more larger, so they are fine. And get some
See, any fish which is faster than discus is going to cause, the fight for food is going to be there. If you know that, yes, discus are slower, so you put the feed on the left side of the aquarium and right side of the aquarium, you put it in the center also. You have the patience to wait whether discus has got the feed. If not, then you put it in the fourth place also. So if you understand that, then you put it and you're not overfeeding also, not spoiling the water. For a happy discus aquarium, you have guests at your place, kids at your place. The first thing is you do the tapping, the fish goes dashing around. Avoid that. A lot of hobbyists will put the aquarium beside the TV. Please don't do it. So something very basic things that you should follow. And rather than being always worried, I've seen hobbyists, I mean, they try to pull out a problem. अरे संजय ये डिस्कस तो कम खा रहा है, अरे ये डिस्कस तो पीछे गया है. सो रादर वो दिन भर का स्ट्रेस बस्ट करने के लिए एंजॉय देयर वे देयर स्विमिंग, वे दे टेकिंग फीड. You try to hunt for a problem, you should avoid and relax until unless there is something serious. So a lot of hobbyists will sit under the tank hunting for a problem. Please don't do it. Enjoy the hobby. So what we have discussed is very complicated. The procedure to keep discus. Only one voice, very faint voice. Come on. Very faint voice.
No, if you see any fish, most of the fishes, this is the procedure to keep any fish.
Was it difficult for you to understand? You understood everything? I can ask you questions? Fantastic. That confirms it. Let's get into some of the emergency situations that can happen. So what do we do when we have electrical power failure? Sorry?
Take the jug, small jug and do it.
Okay, one. Anybody else? Yeah, you tell me. When you have a power failure, electrical failure, what will you do?
In aquarium,
Yeah.
UPS battery response.
You answered once, you say only once.
Power.
You said jug water, correct?
Sir, oxygen level, we connect all oxygen filter, and oxygen is now necessary for only 12 hours. So, if it is
24, till 12 hours electrical failure, then it is okay. If more than that, then we have to use alternate fuel source for restart it.
Sir,
Anyone else?
we always should keep a backup, sir. Whenever we are maintaining tanks or something in the home, there always should be a backup
Backup of what?
of a air pump or AC/DC.
See, electrical power, it is electrical power we are discussing. Electrical power is gone.
Yeah.
Inverter low.
So in that case, we will have AC/DC
He says change water, inverter, he says, what do you say?
air blower.
Battery operated air blower. Anybody else?
Reduce the water level a little bit.
Reduce the water level. Can you explain what will happen?
If light is gone and my tank is filled up to 6 inches, so for emergency I will reduce the 2 inches to 1 kg or something like that.
I didn't get you, sorry.
Yes. So fish can easily come up to take the oxygen from the.
You mean the fish will come up and breathe there? No. What happens is, I'll tell you why the fish go up is, see when there is power off or the air blower is stopped, what happens is your biological cycle, the bacteria which is established, they also need oxygen. The fish also needs oxygen. The oxygen is being consumed at a rapid pace by the fish and the bacteria also. Slowly, the oxygen levels are present only at the top surface. It gets depleted at the bottom. So the fish are coming up. Then the top level also is depleted, then the fish try to jump out. Clear? So, what are the ways if electrical power is gone is, one is you change water. Good point. Then you have battery operated, you have inverter. Would you have inverter supply for a heater?
No, sir.
Why not?
You will burn up the.
The backup time will be reduced. Electricity will be unnecessarily consumed. Yeah. And third point was, yeah, the inverter, battery backup and water change. You're correct. Rather, one more adding one point in this is, when such situation you have gone through and the aeration has been stopped for some time, in such situations, the ammonia levels increase because the beneficial bacteria may die out. So the first reaction should be that you change water. You don't change so much water that it has got residual chlorine. You don't change so much water that is going to get a water temperature variance shock. Stop feeding the fish. In any emergency situations like this, power outage, air pump blower outage, don't feed the fish. It will keep your fish safe for longer time. What do you do in a situation if there is residual chlorine in water?
There are many ways to remove chlorine.
I think you know a lot.
Hobby.
Anybody else? I will come to you. Sorry. I want to involve some people from LSeT team also.
Sir, there is a liquid comes anti-chlorine. We process the water with that for.
What do you call that anti-chlorine?
Anti-chlorine is the liquid the market is selling market.
Okay. Okay. You should know it.
See, first thing is, if you have good aeration, of course it takes time, it is not an instant effect, but if you give more aeration, that helps in dechlorizing. That is what is the, I think, preferred way of that water storage whenever they are under provision people do or they advise to do. And second thing is resort to this chemical basically, anti-chlorine.
I think in my experience, I will ask you, next is you answer this. In my experiences, most of the hobbyists have lost fish because IT guys are the maximum people who buy ornamental fish. This is my understanding. they have changed water and they're gone for the office. And when they have come back in the evening, all fish are dead. This has been one of the major reasons for a hobbyist to lose the fish. हम तो रोज पानी चेंज करते हैं, मच्छी मरता नहीं है. So it doesn't mean that tomorrow the fish will not die or your water will not have residual chlorine. Especially in rainy seasons, the corporation would also use chloramine, which is very highly toxic. Yes, now you can answer. What are the situations, what you can do with residual chlorine supply? What should be the ideal water change so that even if the residual chlorine is present in water, the fish will not be affected?
What we do basically is we store a drum differently and keep the...
Exactly, I knew that you would know the correct answer. A big hand of applause for it. That's the right way. Every hobbyist should have a water storage for the aquarium.
3 drums of water. We use bath.
Sorry?
Almond leaf is that.
Almond leaf.
That drum was sent.
You add. Okay, I can question you on that. You add almond leaf in the water storage, which is for the fish aquarium water change, correct? Now, what does the almond leaf do?
So basically, the pH, it will lower the pH.
Have you checked it?
Yes.
And just one second. What is the storage volume?
220 liters.
220 liters. How many leaves you put in that?
5 to 6 big leaves.
Only one drum.
Only one. What is the pH reduction you have observed?
From 8 to 7.5, 7.4. For each day we get a different pH level of the...
You do it again. I can challenge you. You put 20 leaves in that drum volume, not 5, 6, 20 leaves. You will not see any pH variation in that water. 100% I'm telling you.
Probably because of the aeration also. Because aeration is also going in that.
If it's a RO water, yes, after aeration the pH variation will happen. Almond leaves will not change the pH in so much time with the volume of leaves that you are putting. I'll explain you further. This I had read on internet. Year 2002. I said, इससे pH कम हो जाता है. Very simple. मच्छी का digestion improve होता है इससे. Tannins रहते हैं इसमें. Fine, let's do it. We put a 1000 liter tank. We put 10-12 leaves. Next day, pH same, nothing. Water is very slightly colored. We put 50 leaves, 24 hours, same pH, water is more colored. So this we went on doing it for 10 to 15 days. That's why I'm confidently telling you there will be no pH variation. With almond leaves, no, you have to add acid for a pH lowering. It's very difficult. Other way is, if I keep that 1000 liter water with woods, leaves, dried leaves for 1 year, next year I will get a pH of 5.5. It takes time for the tannins to actually lower the pH. I've seen many people who will say, मैं pH low करने के लिए डाल रहा हूँ. It's not for pH. If you say, I want to improve the digestion of the fish, I will say yes. It will work.
The almond is won't affect the pH.
No.
So even the driftwoods which we use, will it affect the pH?
No. I'm telling you, 1 year, you submerge in water, keep that water, don't change the water. After 1 year, you will definitely see that the pH is lowering. All misconceptions. It's all theory on Google, wherever you will see it. If somebody can actually, tell me if they have a practical experience on almond leaves. Because what I am stating is like, I know everybody says, almond ज़्यादा pH कम हो जाता है. नहीं होता है. So the chemical name for uh, neutralizing the residual chlorine is sodium thiosulfate. I had asked him and he did not know the name. Sodium thiosulfate is the chemical name which will neutralize the residual chlorine in water. It's easily available in market. Aquarium shop वाला लोग उसको क्या बोलता है? I think hypo. Whereas it is a term that hypochlorite बोलेगा तो वो bleaching हो गया. So it is a term which is used by aquarium shop which is actually not correct.
And the main reason on the bottle is anti-chlorine. Only the main.
So that is made by aquarium shop guy or a person who is filling up those bottles. So you put the crystals in water and pack it up, it becomes anti-chlorine.
One blue liquid, blue, anti-aging blue bottle, blue liquid.
It could have methylene blue, malachite green and formalin also. It could have a combination of this. So in case you have a situation where the water is changed, there is residual chlorine, the fishes are coming up. How would you all react to that? How will you stabilize that discus fish aquarium or any other fish aquarium? How will you do? What do you do?
I use stability if it comes up especially, or else I do a water change.
The first reaction to do a water change to little bigger volume.
Correct. Correct. Vitamin C works very well. Rock salt also work very well. I know CChem products are amazing. They also do the job. Electricity we discussed. So what do we do if the air pump is blown, not working, diaphragm चला गया उसका? और एक पंप रखेगा? So you should ask hobbies to buy 2 pumps. Is that the right way? I think it's the right way. We should advise our aquarium hobbies that you have a spare pump. Maybe the spare pump can be the battery pump, so it will help for electrical power failure also and for this also. So every hobby should have a spare pump. That's the main thing. This is the terrible sight for any hobbyist. Huh? Shock lag jata hai na when we enter and suddenly you see all fish on the top surface. Can we react very fast, or it takes time to actually start thinking whether it is air pump, ammonia, what it is, toxicity. Sometimes there is spillage and you can have toxicity also. So how do you react if the ammonia in water is spiked?
Find the source.
Find the source one. Anybody else? How would you know? Fish ऐसा सीन है. How would you know if it is ammonia है कि क्या पानी में कुछ और chemical है क्या है? So aeration चल रहा है. Your aeration is working.
Water will become cloudy little bit.
Water will become cloudy. Yeah.
Difficult in breathing.
Difficulty in breathing.
Yes.
Any other?
Oxygen level may be down.
Nowadays you get those ammonia ka patches stickers to put on the aquarium.
Yes, CChem.
CChem, yeah. They work fine.
Yes.
They work fine. Huh? So that's one way that we should ask our hobbies to have that sticker put. It works fine, no?
Yeah.
I have not used it actually.
It works well fine for 3 months.
For 3 months. Okay. So CChem wants hobbies to come back after every 3 months, huh? Okay. So identifying ammonia level increase, we have had views from our friends. Fish will be on the top surface, gasping, and we have very little time to react. We have to react very fast. The first thing is water change. Start changing the water, minimum water temperature variance, and once done, the aeration can also be increased to very high level. It can be a blast of aquarium aeration in the water. You can add rock salt, and vitamin C helps to remove the toxicity in aquarium. Vitamin C, there are many available in the medical shop. Even the B complex capsule powder will help. So fish will take some time to revive back after ammonia toxicity. Let the fish stabilize after water change, add rock salt, give them time. Don't feed fish. That's a common mistake even after all this severity, which could have been actually due to the debris collecting on the bottom of the tank, a lot of uneaten food lying, a lot of fish poop lying at the bottom, and that's why. And also something that could have worked in crashing your nitrification cycle. Who can tell me the lifespan of discus fish?
Sir, in the aquarium, as far I have noticed, I have kept business for 6-7 years. Max.
7 years.
Yes.
Lock किया जाए.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? I think 7 years also you need to have perfect conditions, optimum conditions for feed, water, temperature. Even the discus should have been born healthy, high immunity, and then it will come to 7 years. We've had a hobbyist, surprisingly in my area, in a small village. He's kept our discus for 9 years. I did not know that he had bought the discus. I had forgotten. I went to his place. I was not believing that he could have kept the fish for 9 years. I went to his place and I saw the fish, and I could see that the fish will still live a little more longer. So I asked him what feed he's giving. So it was pellet feed only. Only pellet feed. So technically when we read Google and we check, it seems in nature the fish can live up to 10 years, and some shares have said, some places it's been said it lives for 15 years. We ourselves have kept fish for 7 years. The discus fish starts losing its beauty, its prime, the screen doesn't have those frail patches on the body, it starts having the lines. So that starts happening after 5 years. So a beautiful fish, discus fish, is up to 4 years, 4.5 years. After 6-7 years, you can definitely see that the fish is looking old. So you can starve the fish, you can keep the discus fish how long?
Sir, up to a month. 25 days.
तो डिस्कस को क्या होगा?
Shrink हो जाएगा. Body shrink होना start करेगा सर. पर वो जिंदा रहेगा.
मरेगा नहीं.
22 to 24 में चलता है. मरेगा नहीं. वो shrink करेगा.
But animals on land will die. Humans, how many days you can stay hungry?
1 or 2 days.
How can a fish stay for 30 days? Are you sure?
Like it is, I'm telling that in certain case, if they are not having food or like it is in a bad condition, it will not die suddenly. It will stop taking feed, but at least it will stay alive for any.
Anybody else? How long discus fish can stay without food?
Never tasted that, but if you are, let's say, getting a new from a new source or a new fish, if you keep them hungry for maybe a couple of days, they definitely will start taking the acid in the feed.
Australian blackworm दोगे तो minimum 1 हफ्ता. वो 2 दिन में मानेगा ही नहीं आपका. He will not take feed. He loves Australian blackworm. He will not take pellet feed, whatever feed you give.
We jack up the temperature, increase the metabolism, so all that stuff, but it depends. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, we discussed 31 degrees for new arrivals. So, surprisingly, I can share that smaller size discus, they can go without feed, without any effects in body changes, mass changes for even 1 week, 15 days. Larger size discus can go without feed for over a month. They do get thinned out, but possibly it could be that the fish is able to absorb certain minerals from the water. हमारे टैंक में इंसेक्ट्स वगैरह तो नहीं गिरता है, बाहर नेचर में they have the other feeds available, but the fish can remain without feed with minimal damage to their body, and the fish comes back also to its original state when we start feeding. We do have to practically keep them starving and fasting because entire family of the hobbies do go out. So I know many families who kept their discus aquarium unattended for 8 days and 10 days. They've come back and their fishes are good and healthy.
So this starving will have any long pending or long lasting effect on their health going forward?
For the smaller size fish. See, 2 inches, 3 inches fish, at least 2 inches definitely they'll take a hit. Take a hit where at that younger age they require all the boost nutrition. So what we see even in humans, the malnutrition takes toll on the child where the right time the nutrition is not met. So the fish may not grow to its optimum size, beauty. So those kind of effects we will see. Do discus fish need light? Fish need light? 24/7? How much light is needed? Sunlight? Bright lights? You're right. So discus need light, but not very high intensity. Low light is good enough. In the night time, the light I explained earlier about the night usage. How will I know if my discus fish is healthy? What are the signs? Physical signs.
Coloration, pattern, fins.
Correct. Anyone else?
It should be interacting to the like over aggressive.
Okay.
We keep going.
Right. Okay.
Healthy
It should be color brightly.
See, first signs of an discus fish is if it is healthy, it will swim very nicely across the aquarium. When you go near the aquarium, it will come ahead. It will not be standing in the corner. It will not be darkened up. So all the points that you all shared are valid, that those are the basic symptoms if the fish is healthy. If the fish stops eating once, twice is still okay. But if it's not eaten for 2 days, you need to worry. The first reaction is raise the water temperature, make more water changes, give them ammonia-free water conditions, living conditions. So a stressed fish will usually be not in the group. It will be in the corner. It will be darkened. And if going ahead he does not improve, he may be sick. He may have an internal problem. We need to be shifted him to a hospital tank for further observation. You all have gone through this situation? A fish is stressed, he goes back. Sometimes it starts eating and he is normal again. Sometimes he stops eating and then you have to treat the fish. I don't know if this question is valid. ऐसा कभी होगा कि we will never have disease in discus aquarium? Not possible, huh? How can we avoid? How can we avoid disease as much as possible?
By not adding any new fish in the tank directly.
Correct, that's one way.
And not feeding them the right food.
Yeah, you're saying something? Maintaining the temperature, very right. Anyone else? It's so simple.
So weekly checking parameters of water like that. With maintaining a schedule for everything. The pH and water parameters and temperature and
See, first is we discussed about it. Whatever you add to the aquarium is going to create a problem. So what you are going to add? Water, feed, or you'll add some fish from a other source. So if you are disciplined about these three aspects, you will have a happy going aquarium, you will not have a problem. Simple. There are going to be issues, there are going to be crises, but if you avoid or follow these three basic conditions required, you will be able to happily enjoy discus keeping. Live feed is the other thing that is deadly. There will be a havoc in your aquarium. Different sources. Discus may jump out of an aquarium if it gets scared. Does anybody know how the discus jumps out? Discus will always jump from the sides. So, discus aquarium should have those rims, the side support. Otherwise, if you observe, discus fish will not jump out of the center of the aquarium. It will always go from the side. So what do you do if you have to leave your fishes and go out for, say, 8 days time? What is the procedure?
Then feeding, so the feeding off. Don't feed regularly because it is more water in the cellar.
I was waiting for somebody to talk on auto feeder. That is a method to kill all the fish when you come back.
No feed, no water.
Auto feeder will kill your fishes because there is going to be no water change. The 8 days is a good time for not water change, and if by chance your beneficial bacteria cycle, nitrification cycle breaks down, it's all over for the fish. You can't take any chances. Don't feed the fish before you leave 1 day before. Give good water changes. When you come back, give water change first and then start feeding the fish. Got it? Now, discus turned dark is definitely a sign that it could have an internal, external or disease issue. Sometimes when you change water and there is a temperature variation, still the fish may go a little dark. How many times to feed in a discus? We have taken this. Does rock salt help in any parasite kind of infection to the discus? I think rock salt is a very good element, and for us ornamental fish hobbies, a very good solution to have basic issues on almost all fishes for the eek and parasite to actually work on. Not for severe.
Even this garlic extract.
Yeah.
Garlic has a medical industry.
Yes. Garlic extract also works very well. It can be added in the feed. Why discus stop taking feed?
Parasite.
Bloating, parasite, internal.
Maybe sometimes it's cold.
Yeah, it may stop eating because it's not.
Not the right temperature, not the right environment.
Yeah, so first is, I'll tell you, very high ammonia levels in water, the discus may stop eating. The first reaction is that. Second is, you have been giving water changes with lower water temperature. So they are getting temperature shock. So these two reasons need to be addressed first. Directly we will not jump to a disease issue. We will change water, we will add rock salt, we will check ammonia levels, then arrive at a conclusion of a disease. Disease is the last thing you look for when you are following all the basic good practices for keeping discus. Hiding in the corner could be natural, but if it is seen regularly, then you need to spend more time in watching the fish if it's taking feed. Almost the first very signs are if the fish is not taking feed, there has to be some issue. So, basic is water.
In some cases, fish take the feed, but he has a tendency out of the group, 1 or 2 fishes will always try to be near food, or if you have any situation. So is that some concern, or how should we look at it?
You mean to say that some fishes are hiding behind the wood and they are not coming ahead?
they will come, they will take feed, but normal case, maximum, if you say the maximum time, they will try to stay near the wood or.
See, a discus or almost every fish is a territorial fish. So they will select a spot in particular area of an aquarium. So what you have observed is कि वो wood के पास रह रहा है तो he likes that spot. So he will take the feed and again go back. If it's a young adult discus, then he selected the site for spawning that in that area. So he will in fact even guard that area. They will not allow that fish, other fishes to go near that area. Got it? I think we've taken up this newly arrived discus point earlier. Yeah. If the fish is struggling to swim, I think it's the same cause where ammonia could be high, there could be toxicity in water, there could be your swim bladder issue. Can we cure a swim bladder issue fish? At the initial stages only. I believe that when you first observe the fish putting the head down, and before putting the head down also the fish swims in a wobbly pattern. So if you observe the fish when it is just about getting that stomach bloat and looking down, it will work. But I can tell you this is all temporary. Once the fish is head down, there is no cure. There is no cure. This is what is my observation. Obviously, Discus X, you said, Discus X has that formulation, back to site 2, I think. He says it cures. I have tried. Back to site 2, it had come for trials to me. So I was not able to cure head down. Aquarium breakage, what will you do? Discus are there, aquarium cracked. Correct, simplistic. Take a tub, chlorine-free water, net the fish, put it there. Don't use the same aquarium water. Okay, but what happens if the heater failure? It is chill, very cold outside. Spare heater. You'll have to sell two heaters. Your business is growing, huh?
2 liters, 2 water pumps, 2 aquariums.
If it's extreme cold, I think what happens is if heater failure is observed, there is no option but to get a replacement heater. Adding in preheated water can be done. You can have a storage, water which is ready. You can boil water, add only so much water that the water temperature is reached to 30 degree, and you can gradually add for some time, mug by mug, but you cannot give a big change. But this is only till the time you get a new heater. I'm talking about places like Jammu Kashmir, it's all ice. It's because I had a customer in Jammu and Kashmir. He used to put three blankets in winter. He had 3 heaters till, I mean, he could save the fish, but 3 blankets after 3 heaters in that tank.
Sir, can we use heating pad?
Whatever that will get your aquarium temperature to 30 degree, and you should monitor it's not overheating. Yeah. Thank you. You've been patiently listening to me. Any questions you all have? I am ready for questions.
Usually you consider Discus Fish as a best aquarium fish. Why? Because my opinion, the best aquarium fish are those who can be easily maintained, who can be easily survive in temperature, and can be easily kept by all types of business. And Okay. So I cannot consider discuss this best actually means because maintenance the temperature is right. We have to maintain 2 or 3 days initially and then maybe we have to feed directly to the time right. So the best feed I think is the
Wait,
common
listen,
feed
listen
is
to him.
because sold in the market and it can easily maintain that. And
So in short, your question is why I chose to take up discus fish breeding or farming as a profession. Correct?
no, you initially said that the best aquarium fish are discussed.
You mean to say why I say that the best
Why you choose that one?
if I say choose, then I that's what I said to everybody. See why I chose discus for my profession has got a different answer, and why I think that discus fish is the best fish is got a different answer. So I'll answer your question first of why discus fish is best fish according to me. When I saw the discus for the first time, the rounded body, its vertical going up swimming pattern, and they all go one together. It's mesmerizing. I was stunned the first time when I saw that fish. I said, this is not a normal fish. And I did not go out of that place. I was there till the person said, now I have to close, you go.
Where did you sleep?
I was in Pune. Those times where like people show you discus from a distance. That is my discus tank. So don't go near. Huh? You have to swim at a distance. You can't go near at all. So it was impulsive. Right then I thought that I am going to buy that entire tank if he's ready to sell. He was not ready to sell. It was difficult to get discus. Guy to sell you discus also. वो बोलता था, no, this is not for sale. This is for myself. So getting discus was also very difficult those times. Now I will tell you that I have been into ornamental fishes, others. I can share that probably the best flowerons were done by me initially. I did not proclaim it or share it everywhere, but first breeding I did was successfully for getting the quality with good head was for flowerons. I used to, I mean, it was like a hobby. Aya, then friends ko sabko baant diya. So money was not there when I got into flowerons. After I saw the discus, the business plans was already in the mind कि boss करना है तो ये करना है और Google करो तो king of aquarium. So it is accepted by the entire ornamental fish industry that the most popular and most beautiful fish is discus. And then when I searched more about data on the hobby globally, so what it is mentioned is that you have so many ornamental fish aquarists all over the world. They start with a small fish. They don't like to spend so much. They just want a nature in their house. So also it goes as a pet, which is much less tedious work. But as the hobby progresses, guppy to molly to goldfish to flowerons to more costly fishes, and I have noticed over years, as the hobby progresses, if the hobbyist progresses beyond 1 year, he surely has to see discus videos on YouTube and Facebook, and he will go and make a discus aquarium surely after 1 year. So what I saw was that over a period of time, people graduate in aquarium keeping, fish keeping, they will come to discus. So I thought it is only thing that I do is difficult to keep. There needs to be a lot of experience to understand the fish. And if I can breed that quality and standards, that customers will prefer buying. That's why I took up this discus breeding or ornamental fish farming, as it was my greatest passion since childhood. Now it's my profession and I'm very happy doing it. We export to about, I think, 12 countries. In India, all major cities. Jeet Sarkar is one of our dealers sitting here with us. We have won championship at Mumbai. The events organized by Dr. Meera Devbhakta. I call her Meera Tai. And we are missing her at Mumbai because she was the one who was spearheading the pet industry or any kind of events and exhibitions she was heading. Now she's got a larger role here, and I'm sure she's not going to be stopping, and she's going to be continuing her contribution. So coming to it is, we won a lot of good number of prizes in Mumbai. There have been a lot of people come who have been with me for a long time. In fact, most of the brands, importers you will talk, have been with me. They have spent time at my farm, most of them. I can say, I feel proud to say that. Today they are competitors, but still it's okay. I know that the industry is growing. We've won awards. Last year's show was at Mumbai, the first international discus competition. Our fish was recognized as the best in the show, grand champion. I did not put my name directly, or I did not participate directly because of reasons. I don't know if you all understand. It went through other person and we got it. My greatest pride was when we won an international champion, and that is also first in the show. Our red kukri eruption, I think I missed to show you that fish. Huh? This was the fish which was champion at Holland show also, vivarium, and the same line fish was champion at the last year's show also. A baby, the next generation of this fish. We are not stopping here. There is so much of... Sir. Sir.
If I want to do my editorial job, but I want to be fish with the idea of making some money out of it as a side, how much time I need to spend in the morning or in the evening? Say 10 to 6 and work.
Sir, my opinion is that for live animals, your observation and time dedication is the key most factor. And when we want to actually, when we start expecting something written out of it, then how much ever time you dedicate is short. So until unless you have a focused and dedicated time, because when we breed fish, when there are fries on body, you have to be very watchful for the number of times that you have to feed. Feeding is live artemia, and there could be shells also going in the tanks which can create a problem. So time dedication has to be there. I think this helps. Somehow it does provide a soothing effect in the fish room. Very soft music can help is what I feel, because over years spending time with the fishes, I did notice that the fish recognize the owner. They do show signs of a visitor coming for the first time by raising their fins much more, trying to show a little aggression. So yes, they have emotions. To what level, it's difficult to actually portray, but they do have emotions.
100%.
Yes.
Most
Yeah.
of the tank I have seen are empty. So if you put plants on with the discus fish, do they disturb them or it would be?
If you put warm water plants, because discus require warm temperature. So if you put those coffee folia and nana plants, then it will go well. If you don't use a lot of substrate, it's better, because the discus is continuously eating. It will go on the floor also and take feed from the floor.
Do they disturb the plant, like they sift it like koi fish or like?
No, they will not.
So in one of the picture you have shown wave maker, but in your slides nowhere there was a direct mention. Maybe from a hobbyist point of view, I'm asking this.
It is required when you have a sump system. So basically what happens is, for the skimming action, the top surface water to be going down and uniformly, then you can have the wave maker. And should not be at a very high pace. It should not throw the discus in its normal swimming pattern.
There is no, of course, there should not be an adverse effect making them difficult to swim and all, but it is not a big no for having it for some other purpose. Like some people suggest for keeping the floor clean, sending the poop towards the canister filter sump section. Would you advise that or?
Come again, actually, you come
As we keep the wave maker down below for the waves to take out all the dirt and put it at the corner.
No, I don't think you should put it down because नीचे से तो it whole muck will be flowing here. Even the food will be flowing up and down. It will be difficult for the fish.
So it should be only considered for the
Only for usually again I will correct for very large aquariums, not for the hobbyist discus aquariums. Wave maker I will not advise. Very large aquariums where the water will has to be concentrated towards the overflow. If we have time, Miratai, can I show, I think, 10-minute video of our farm? Shinku, you'll just put that, Tane?
Tane is here.
हाँ अपना लैपटॉप आएगा अदरवाइज यू गो टू यूट्यूब deworming you can do it with praziquantel, flubendazole. These are good dewormers. So internal, external. I think depending on your water quality, aquarium conditions, once in 3 months is good. Yeah.
The Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana (PMMSY) was launched in September of 2020 with an aim to double the income of fish farmers and fisheries in the country. It focuses on sustainable development of India's fisheries sector and is a part of Atmanirbhar Bharat scheme, a scheme to bring
this was a
about
brood bank
ecologically
project
healthy,
जिसके लिए बनाया था,
economically
but this
viable
shows the
and
different
socially
sections in
inclusive
our
development
farm.
of the fisheries sector of India. The ornamental fish farming has been included for the development of this sector. The National Fisheries Development Board and the Maharashtra Fisheries Department has been instrumental in implementing the scheme for ornamental fish brood bank project at Mangaluru village, Pane, in Maharashtra's Raigad district. The ornamental fish brood bank project involves selective breeding of more than 25 fish species that are popular in the Indian market and also have a good export potential. The key factor for growth of ornamental fish farming is high quality and high immunity seed. This will then be purchased and grown by smaller farms across villages, which will generate many employment opportunities. Live feed such as Daphnia is harvested regularly to feed the fish fry, and live bloodworm culture as well as adult Artemia is cleaned and frozen to be fed to the adult fish stock. The fish feed is processed with utmost care to meet optimal conditions. The feed is mixed and minced carefully to achieve the exact consistency required for optimal and healthy growth of specific fish species. The farm also has an advanced blister tray packing machine for adult Artemia and bloodworms, so it can be easily frozen and stored to be fed at a later date. Once the spawning is done, the fish fry are raised artificially. The project has a 30 kVA 3-phase electric power generator for power backup and borewell with a 2 horsepower submersible pump which fills the water in the overhead storage tanks. There is an electrical panel room, a reverse osmosis filtration plant, and oxygen concentrator as well as an ozone generator that takes care of the water recirculation and keeps the stock in good health. The rearing tanks have UPVC plumbing to take care of the water circulation, filtration as well as oxygenation in the most cost-effective way. The laboratory is equipped with all essential water testing kits, medicines as well as vitamins and minerals that need to be administered when required. The quarantine unit is used to inspect the health and the condition of the fish before shipment. Once the fish is ready to be shipped, it's packed using an automatic live fish packing machine that packs the fish perfectly with oxygen so it can sustain the journey. The Brood Bank project has been monitored by Regional Deputy Commissioner of Fisheries Shree Mahesh Deore and Assistant Fisheries Commissioner of Alibag Shree Suresh Bharti to ensure the systematic implementation. The project comes at a cost of 1 crore. However, the PMMSY scheme gives us a 24% benefit from the central government and a 16% from the Maharashtra state government, which adds to a total of 40%.
I'm Yashodhara Khandagale. I would like to thank Commissioner Fisheries Honorable Sri Atul Pandey sir for his guidance in starting ornamental fish brood bank project. The annual turnover before the brood bank project was 60
Our
lakh,
entire family is into this. Both the sons have also quit jobs and come back and join with us.
Staff 3 numbers. Now with this project, the projected turnover will be about 90 lakhs and increase employment generation in and around Raigad district. If there are satellite ornamental fish farming unit in the other district of Maharashtra, there will be much more employment opportunities and second income generation for fish farmers, especially for ladies.
Hello, my name is Abhishek Ghure. I am an ornamental fish farmer from Raigad. The fish quality from this farm I am getting is excellent. So today I am taking koi fish, discus and angel fish for my fish farms and I am very much satisfied. Thank you.
स्थानिकरित्या रोजगार उपलब्ध होऊन उदरनिर्वाहाचे साधन निर्माण झाले त्याबद्दल केंद्र व राज्य शासनाचे आभार.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. It was my pleasure, honor that Miratai called me for this. And when I got to know about LSeT, which I did not know earlier, I feel so good that, animal care has become more organized with LSeT coming in. And now there are diploma courses and career options where the young generation is going to learn more on animal care, pet care. So kudos to LSeT for having been the first in the country and have this thing going in. And this will go a long way in pet care industry. Yeah, thank you.